this video, I want to try and teach those who are new to FiveM how to use the database for their server. If you find this video helpful, then please don't forget to drop the like on the video. It encourages us to make more videos like this. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use SQL files for servers and scripts, and hopefully by the end of this video you're going to feel more confident the next time you're trying to install whether it's a new script or potentially setting up a server. Now, we always find that customers and people who are new to FiveM will always attempt to manage their database with phpMyAdmin. So if you're using Zap hosting and you'll open up your database, it'll normally automatically open up phpMyAdmin. We see sometimes customers are using it on a VPS as well. So my first advice to anyone and everyone, if you're new to your doing this and you want to manage your database a lot easier, is download Heidi MySQL. And this is the program you can see that I'm using right now. This is Heidi. It's going to be your best friend. Now when you first download it, it might be in light mode. You can change that by going to Tools, Preferences, and then there should be here. You can change your style option and you can change it to a dark mode. So what I want to try and teach you today is what an SQL is and how the database works. So every FiveM server is going to have a database. Most scripts or some scripts will also use tables within your database, and that's to store information, whether this could be character information, profits for a business, or maybe jail time for a player. It could be anything and everything. So sometimes when you download a new script, you're going to get an SQL file. So for example here, if you just downloaded the gas stations from our website, you would have instructions and an SQL file. And you may be wondering, like, if it's the first time and you're new to FiveM, some people just try to drag the resource into their actual server without importing the SQL, and obviously that isn't going to work because there's no database tables to store all the information for your gas, your cars, your players, So I want to try and teach you how to import and just how it works. So here I've got my databases. So when I open up Heidi, I'm in a Windows VPS right now, so I'm in a local machine basically, and here I've got a bunch of different databases. This is actually my test server for my QB core server 1.4. So basically what I'm going to do is show you how you can import a new database and also import a script to your server. So let's begin with importing a script. So say for example I just downloaded Ghost Gas Stations and I want to install the table. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the database that I want to install the table. So in this case I'm going to use Ghost Test Server. Now I'm also going to have to remove the gas stations from my database. There you go. It's also worth noting, when you make changes, they won't also always be live, and so you're going to have to refresh. So right click on your table or database, you can do it to individual tables or the entire database and just hit refresh. And that's going to ensure everything's nice and updated. What I'm going to do now that the database is selected of the one I wish to use, I'm going to go across to query. Okay, I'm going to grab the SQL file, I'm going to drag it in, and then I'm just going to run it, and it's done. So again, if I open the table now, you won't see it. I'm going to have to refresh, and once it's refreshed, you can just open it back up, and then you will be able to see the table it created there, gas stations. And that's how you import a script SQL. That simple. Here, as you can see, it creates the table gas stations, and then in the table it creates everything that it needs to run the script, and then when you buy the gas station it's all saved, and this is the same for most scripts. So sometimes when you download a server, you will have quite a bit of a bigger SQL and slightly different process, okay? So say for example you just purchased a server from maybe us or another developer. What you would do, you would go onto your main database here. Now you don't want to be selecting anything because when you download a server, normally your SQL will actually create a table, but there's one way to find out. So here we have our QB 1.4 server database. I'm going to drag it into my schema here. You know how we run and create everything? I just dragged it into the box up here. As you can see, it's creating a database called QB Christmas, and then it's going to use that database to import all of the tables. As you can see, we already have QB Xmas. So what I can do is I could rename that to my mum. And obviously we want to rename that as well. And then what I can do is press play. Boom. Again, you can't see it, can you? So you know what we're going to have to do. Refresh. Boom. And there you go. You can now see my new table. So with my mum, if you were going to change the name, for example, here I changed the name. Default, your server CFG will be matching your database for the server. So if you do change the name of your table or your database, make sure to go into your server.cfg and also change the name of your database there. Otherwise you may get an error saying, you know, it can't connect to the database. You have to make sure the table names match. You can also create a new database manually. You can come up here, create a new database, and you could put it as Ghost Test 2. And then you can have Ghost Test 2. It's going to have absolutely nothing here, but you can manually add tables if you wish, or you could come into here and manually import SQLs, create SQLs. You could do absolutely anything you like. So yeah, you can also create the tables, and what you can do is you can use absolutely any sort of database. So for example, if I want to, I've quickly made something here. Let's just refresh that quickly. So what we're going to do here, we're going to head into Ghost Tutorial, which we just made now. As you can see, I've just made a table. Now you're probably wondering, why can't I see anything? We're still seeing this screen here, right? So over here, come to data. Okay, when you go to data, it's going to show you everything within that table. So for example, if I went into my actual QB server, and I went into one of my tables, and I went onto data, let's choose one which actually has some stuff. Let's go into vehicles. Here you can see I've got all the vehicles. Okay. So always make sure you have data to actually see what's going on. So with the databases, they're fantastic. You can use them for Discord bots to store information. You can create your own tables to do absolutely anything. It's very, very simple. If this has helped, I hope you have benefited from this. If you want to know something more or go into a bit more advanced things, then let me know and I'll happily do so. Yeah, see you next time.